Hello and welcome. As you know, I am an artist. I've been here on YouTube teaching art for many, many years, but I also am a game developer and I am working on Twilight Monk, the video game. This is a Metroidvania. If you like Metroid and you like Castlevania, baby, I got the game for you. So check it out. Today, I'm going to be painting a bunch of sprites. They're basically NPCs that are going to populate the city of Crescent Isle. This is a game that has an overworld, but it has a lot of Metroidvania elements. So there's going to be NPCs in the world that are just going to be able to talk to them about, what's the weather like and stuff like that. It's going to bring the world to life in so many ways. And I thought, well, hey, why don't you peek on over my shoulder as I'm working on a lot of these NPCs and their portraits. I got to do portraits for every one of these townsfolk. There's a lot of them, so I got to do them fast. Thank you for joining me today. If you would like to pick up the game, you can check it out over on Steam. It's also coming to Switch. There's a trailer at the end of this video. All right, let's draw some NPCs and townsfolk. Let's do it. So to give you a little bit of an idea of the NPCs, these are a lot of the characters that we've got into the game, but they don't have portraits yet. Only a couple of them are interactive. Like right now, the chicken's got a little animation. You can talk to him. Bark. So we've also got a couple of other NPCs up here that, if they're animated, then they probably have a dialogue. So like this old man, old-timer Clive. Yeah, he's lived in Crescent Isle all his life. He didn't remember it ever raining so much. It rains a lot recently in Crescent Isle. We also have Hamcha. If you've read the novels, then you know that Hamcha runs a barbecue joint. And it's all smashed up, though. And he's going to ask you if you wanted to, get a repair on the barbecue shop. Yeah, you'll be able to get some barbecue in this game, but we've got to design a lot of these like headshots, like these little profile images up in the corner that you see when the character's talking. This is Bolo from the novels as well, and they're turning the Red Cobra's hideout into an arcade. So we got a lot more portraits to draw. We got all portraits for all these guys, and then they got to get animated. Might be able to interact with this little piggy, possibly. Certainly a good chunk of work to be done there. So let's dig into it. So this little feller here is, he's already animated in game, and we need to basically do a portrait. So when you talk to him, when you interact with him, we need to see like a little bit more of a close-up of a headshot of him. For a lot of these, I really had to do the most streamlined, simplified kind of art style that I could do, that I enjoy doing. It needs to be effortless. When I say effortless, I mean, it's not like I'm, sleeping while I'm drawing it, but it certainly needs to be in an art style that's real quick and easy for me to do. And this is kind of an art style that I've been drawing in comic books for like a long, long time. So, I'm going expressive and cartoony, and you can see I'll start with a color blob for just the face. This might be very confusing to some people because, I've been doing a lot of these tutorials on drawing manga, and I'm doing a lot of tutorials that I'm teaching how to draw human heads and whatnot. And it almost seems like I'm just pulling shapes out of thin air when I'm sketching these. But in my mind, I'm doing all of the guides. I'm I know where the center line of the face is. I know where the light is going to be coming from. I know what basic colors, to paint the beard. And I know all these things in my head, and I can kind of when I squint a little bit, I can kind of imagine it, and then on top of that, I've got this reference imagery right next to me, for that, straight on kind of a shot of this character as we're looking down on him in the world map or the overworld. But a lot of this is just because I've been doing it for so freaking long. Okay, so there's a part of you that just kind of goes into automation mode, and this is definitely not true if I had to make this character look like an existing character from another IP. I wouldn't be able to have that kind of freedom. But when you literally have to draw 300 heads on top of all of the art for the entire game, you tend to have to simplify it down. And this is something, I think a mistake that a lot of artists will make is that they'll make it so epic, they'll want to spend a week on one portrait. Okay, well then you can only have 5 NPCs in the whole game. I had to do something that was streamlined a little bit faster. This is why you look at something like, Hollow Knight, or you look at a lot of indie games, and it's they really have to simplify the art style. That's why pixel art was really popular for a while. Now that's even accelerated to the point where pixel art is really high end. And And so I needed to just kind of do something that was fun. This was just fun. This art style is fun for me. I do a little bit of highlight, a little bit of line art, probably go in and add just a little bit more like a little bit more sketchy lines to like get a little bit more detail for things like where you'd see little scuffs on him or things like that. But for the most part, he's done. Next up, we got chicken. You already saw this one. You already saw that like you could interact with the chicken, but he needed a portrait. So it's tricky because like this isn't like a main character. So don't spend 2 or 3 days like doing a portrait for a chicken that you interact with. This is one of those things where this is a lot of what my job is now. Is just doing loads and loads of little pieces. Sometimes I'll just design like a statue that goes in the background of a level. Like that's most of what I've been doing for the last year and a half, and that's why it's been tough to also keep up with making YouTube videos. But hopefully you guys will enjoy this because it is still just a peek at the game, and it's a peek at like my process for how I'm blobbing out colors and getting these portraits done. They get dropped into Unreal Engine, and then I have to like program in an ID for them, and then I have to like write in the dialogue in these CSV files, and then those get translated into 12 languages, et cetera, et cetera. But this is the process. And then here we got more NPCs that I'm adding. These are a little bit of help from one of my assistants, Danny Kong, who helped me out with some of the thumbnails and designs for some of these NPCs, and I'm finally modifying them. Some of these were going to be in the Cannonballers game that was coming out last year, but the Cannonballers are now a part of Twilight Monk. That's right. You're going to see a lot of the characters from Cannonballers in Twilight Monk, but so a lot of these ended up just getting translated over. We're going to have some animals in there and a few babes, in town that you could flirt with. No, there's no. It ain't that kind of game, okay? We're not going for Baldur's Gate level. If you want to flirt with your NPC crew, play Baldur's Gate. This is more about action, kung fu, adventure. Okay. So anyway, so that's a little bit of a peek into my NPC drawing process. I don't want to spoil too much of the game, but you are going to see a little bit more previews of what you're going to expect in the game coming up this year. Of course, if you want to get frequent updates, follow me on Twitter or here on the YouTube channel, or just go to the Steam page and check it out. We got community updates and developer updates over there. If you wish list it, you can get access to that. And thank you guys so much for stopping by. Of course, if you want to learn more about my painting process and learn to paint like me or make games like me or comics like me, then check out my workshops where I teach you everything that I've been doing over the last 30 years of being a pro artist. Okay, so, oh boy. There's a lot of info in there. So anyway, of course, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. All right, ciao.